Imagine yourself as a hardworking middle-class American. However, one day your boss tells you you're being fired for no reason other than because you had to be paid a certain amount. That was the case for 850 American workers and counting, whom have been laid off by Disney and replaced with cheap immigrant workers who came under the H-1B visa. You and your coworkers had not been less skillful or didn't work as hard. It was because those immigrants were cheaper to hire. Hi, my name is Charles Young, and me and my partner and I will be affirming the resolution. Increased restrictions on immigration is beneficial for the United States. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, immigration is defined as travel into a country for the purpose of permanent residence. Legal immigration is defined as, by Oxford, immigration that is officially authorized. Contention 1, less government spending. The government spends about $85,000 on one citizen per year. According to the Washington Post, 12 million immigrants have been barred from entering the United States. If those 12 million immigrants had been let in, the United States would have to spend an extra $1.02 trillion, while only spending $263 billion on restrictions in the past. Even if we include the tax money paid by these immigrants, $11,000 per year on average, the U.S. government still loses $900 billion. In addition to this, it is also stated that these people used fraud documents, carried diseases, or were unemployed, and added harm to the economy and the people. Contention 2, less crime and more security. 9/11, one of the deadliest terror attacks on the United States, was caused by a group of terrorists who received the H-1B visa. The Department of Homeland Security stated that over 21% of people who received these visas committed a crime related to fraud or technical violations. According to the Government Accountability Office, the H-1B system is so easily hacked, there is no way to know how many H-1B visa holders are in the United States at any given time and what they're doing at any given moment. There are so many loopholes. One could arrive here as a worker on a worker visa, then switch to an H-1B visa so they can stay in the U.S. for longer, allowing them to apply for citizenship. Once they gain citizenship, they can petition for a family member to receive a green card. Another problem is that the worker visa are so poorly administered that the applicants aren't screened. This leaves the United States vulnerable to attacks from within by these immigrants. Contention 3, higher employment rates. If we have less people in the United States and more jobs in the U.S., everyone would be guaranteed a job. According to the Huffington Post, over 20 million legal immigrants have jobs in the United States. Every year, more and more U.S. citizens lose jobs to immigrants on the H-1B visa. According to CNBC, over 56,000 American jobs are being cut, replaced by cheap immigrant workers. Countries with less immigrants seem to have higher employment rates. Germany has a 2% higher employment rate than the United States while having 12 million less immigrants. This is also consistent in other countries, such as China. China, with almost no immigrants, has a 4% higher employment rate than the United States. For these reasons, we strongly urge you to vote pro.
Are you ready for cross-ex? Alright, so 1 second. Is everyone ready?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Time starts now. So what is your definition of an H-1B visa, or what do you know what an H-1B visa is?
Yeah.
What is it?
It's like a visa issued to people, which allows them to. It's sort of like a temporary citizenship. They have the rights of a regular citizen.
But
and it
H-1B
allows
visa,
them to work in the United States.
An H-1B visa is a non-immigrant visa reserved for higher education. So
but there's
these
also
people are
worker
already,
visas that
these
are given
people
to
are
immigrants.
already hired. Already have
so they get the
incredible
H-1B
education.
visa. But what immigrants can do is they come here on a worker visa, then switch to an H-1B visa.
No,
Yes, they're allowed to do that.
You have to apply for an H-1B visa.
No, you can come into the United States as on a worker visa, then apply for an H-1B visa. Pretty much get an H-1B visa.
No, H-1B visas are for immigrants. Like they have to come before they come in.
No, H-1B.
So you talked about You said that worker visas were too poorly administered.
Yes.
What do you mean by that?
That means they don't screen the applicants very well. They don't have many background checks, that kind of stuff. They can slip in even if they're criminals,
Okay.
according to the Department of Homeland Security. What?
Department of Homeland Security.
I'm saying that's our source.
Oh, okay. In your third contention, you talked about how if there's less people, there's more jobs, and everyone's
Yes.
guaranteed a job. But what about the immigrants that are actually creating companies, which are creating jobs?
Yeah, they can be. We're saying increase restrictions to prevent criminals, bad people.
No,
coming
or we're
into
talking
the
about your
States.
contention 3. You talked about
Yeah.
how if there are less people and more jobs, then the chances of okay.
Okay.
All right, no prep needed. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. My time starts now. Hello, my name is Eric Chen, and today I'm negating the resolution. So, for me to win, I must prove that the current H-1B quota is not enough, and that keeping or lowering the current restrictions is actually benefiting the country. So, I have a couple definitions. An H-1B is a non-immigrant visa reserved for higher education. Legal is permitted by law. Increased, make greater in size. Beneficial, resulting in good. So the resolution doesn't take into account who benefits from the actual increasing, or like in my case, who benefits from the keeping or lowering. So my first point is about the current quota. So H-1Bs are the lead to new patents and ideas, and so why exactly is there a limit, right? So the current quota is 65,000 plus 20,000 for higher education plus 1.4 thousand and 5.4 thousand for Chile and Singapore. This gives me 91.8 thousand. And while that may seem like a lot, according to the USCIS, last year 300,000 people applied for a H-1B visa, and 216 got in. And the reason for why this happened is because the US realized that they actually need more visas. They need more H-1Bs because even before the H-1Bs get a visa, they're already set to help our country grow. My second point is the importance of an H-1B. So H-1Bs, when they come to America, they're already educated and they're already set for helping America. So these H-1Bs, they're already knee-deep in studies that are typically STEM subjects, and even if they are less educated than the researchers here, they're still helping us because they show us how they lived, their technology back from where they came from. So they teach us about their homes. So no matter what, them coming is already helping us. My opponents, they want to increase the actual restrictions. So this actually doesn't help us at all because this makes H-1Bs getting in a lot harder. So it's a lot harder for H-1Bs to get in, thus making it slower for America to grow because, like earlier I said, H-1Bs are the lead for new patents and ideas. By keeping the restrictions how they are right now, we're making no change at all. No one's benefiting, no one's losing anything. However, if we actually decrease the restrictions right now, we can actually keep America growing steadily and faster because of these H-1Bs coming in and helping us. My third point is about the overall benefits of immigration. So immigrants are already changing our world. They can show that the U.S. actually wants to help because we're not just letting random people in, but taking the example of a refugee, if we let them in, then we're showing that we're helping out other countries. We're helping other countries, when they're at war and their citizens try to flee, then we can help them by taking them in and caring for them. Then let's say earlier when I was talking about H-1Bs, I said that the H-1Bs are helping us out, but when the H-1B wants to go home, they teach their home country what we taught them. They're showing them what we showed them, and this can benefit the entire world if we let this go. And then H-1Bs are the key, and by decreasing or keeping the restrictions, we can do a world a big favor.
Partner ready?
And okay, yeah.
When I'm ready?
Time starts now.
Okay, so you stated that the benefits of immigration include helping other refugees, bring them in, care for them, right?
Yes.
But isn't the job of the United States to care for its own citizens?
Yeah.
But if you're wasting your resources on these immigrants, well, not really wasting, but using these resources on these immigrants, what about the regular citizens, huh?
We're not.
80,000 of
we're
our
not,
tax. 80% of our
Do
tax.
you want an answer or not?
Huh?
Alright, we're
Go
not
ahead.
wasting our resources. We're not just throwing our resources away. We're helping them, and in turn, we're helping us.
We're using the taxpayer dollars. These are citizens who are paying, expecting to get benefits back.
They will get
Except-
benefits back
but
because
they're getting
these
less
refugees,
benefits. You
when,
have to
when,
use
when
money.
these,
You
when
have to
these
use-
refugees know and they grow
Look,
and
there's
they
no free
learn.
resources. You have to pay for those
I know
resources.
exactly, and the refugees they'll pay back.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Say one person pays $80,000 expecting to get $80,000 benefit back. What if $10,000 is spent on an immigrant? How much do they get back? Worth
It depends.
$70,000 less, right?
Where'd you get this from?
I'm giving you an example. I'm
Okay.
coming up with an example, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so they're getting less benefits
How do you know that they're gonna give less back?
because no country has an unlimited supply of money. The benefits that they give to the citizens are from the citizens' tax-paying
I'm not saying
dollars.
that the country is going. No, I'm saying,
what you're
how do
saying-
you know that the actual refugee will give less back? No, I'm not saying.
Look, when refugees come here, usually they can't just get a job instantly. They don't know English very well.
Yeah.
So they have to rely on these taxpayer dollars, welfare, until they have enough, like, back English, education, to get a good job.
What's next?
Your attack.
Oh, okay. Can I get? I'll run. Time starts now.
Your attack.
I used 17 seconds and 88. 17 seconds. Okay. Wait, 3 seconds? 3 minutes?
Yep.
Okay.
Can you flow?
Time starts.
Wait, one sec.
No, we're ready.
Okay.
Alright. Is everyone ready?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're ready.
Okay. Time starts now. So my wait. Can I do an off-time robot just saying I'm gonna go down the flow? So off-time robot, I'm just gonna go down the flow. So starting from their contention 1, they talk about less government spendings and how they are spending a lot more, but they're not receiving enough. This I said earlier is false because I said that we would be, after like helping these refugees, they would kind of have to help us back. Like, it's not just a one-way thing. They would have to, after they've gotten up from their damages, they would have to get a job. They'd have to actually help. They'd actually have to benefit. They'd actually have to get a job. They'd have. Shoot. All right. So. They say that even after the taxes that the citizens pay, the U.S. government would still lose billions. But once again, I say that's false because we're also helping other countries out. It's not just us just pulling away citizens and helping them. We're helping other countries. and there's a point where the countries actually have to pay their debt. Their contention too is about more security, or the security, and then they talk about how over 21% of people who received visas, H-1B visas, committed crimes. However, the definition of an H-1B is a non-immigrant visa reserved for the higher educated. So they would actually have to go through tons of background checks, and actually, the security right now is good. Is pretty good because the immigrants make security even better by collecting more benefits than they pay into the system. By paying more benefits than they collected. Their contention 3 about how they higher employment. The higher employment rates. I said earlier that these immigrants, they have a 200% greater chance of creating large companies, and these large companies roughly creates a large company roughly creates at least 7,600 jobs, and that's already benefiting the U.S. as a whole, and it's about 51% of large companies are created by immigrants. So there's actually therefore I strongly urge a con ballot.
Cross-X?
Is it cross-X?
Yes, stereotype.
Alright.
Here's my stuff.
Okay. Partner ready?
Yes.
Partner ready?
Yes.
Judge ready? Okay, time starts now. So, you talked about how we're helping other countries, right?
Yes.
By paying for them. How can you say like how that works?
So immigration, chain immigration, lottery immigration. Do you know what those are? All right. So lottery immigration, they pay us to do that lottery so they can take citizens out of their country and bring them there. Same thing with chain migration, and then. So in time they are actually paying us, and same thing with the debt.
But how does that help other countries?
What do you mean?
You said we benefit other countries by paying for these immigrants.
I said we benefit from other countries. What did I say?
Okay. Also, you said what did you say about the background checks for H-1B? How?
What do you mean?
Like you said, why is there more background checks for H-1B?
They are reserved for the higher education. So first of all, you need to get a company to sponsor you.
But these people aren't all highly educated.
They are.
But
Master's, PhD, they are.
But you're talking about refugees, right, and how they repay the country?
Yes.
But refugees don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
So how is that repaying?
No, there's a point where the refugees, even if they don't pay the taxes, they still will help us out because, like I said earlier, the immigrants have a 200% chance, more chance of.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
But doesn't that take like a lot of time?
What do you mean?
If they have to, if they're judge ready? Okay, time starts now. So our opponent started off by saying that H-1B visas are not that all H-1B visas are highly educated, but that's not true. Only 60% of 40% of immigrants are have a master's degree or above. Also, he talks about how refugees will repay us in time, but refugees don't pay taxes. It's the U.S. citizens are paying for those refugees. He's also saying how the new companies are how immigrants will create new companies, but 75% of new companies are by Americans. Also, H-1B visas are what was used in the 9/11 attacks. Thousands of lives were lost because of these H-1B visas. These people came and on these H-1B visas, and they attacked us. Also, these immigrants are costing us a lot of money. These immigrants pay. The U.S. has the government spends about $85,000 on one citizen, and 12 million immigrants were barred from entering the U.S. If those 12 million had been let in, the U.S. would have had to spend an additional $1.02 trillion, while only spending $263 billion on the restrictions. So it's more beneficial to us than to keep these immigrants out. Also, if U.S. taxpayer dollars go to immigrants, that's less money going to U.S. citizens. It's basic logic. Also, citizens are paying for these immigrants. It's like investing in a failing company. Your money is being wasted with as the time goes on. I think that's all. And we strongly urge you to vote for him.
Starts now. So, do you know the definition of an H-1B visa?
Yes.
It's literally a visa, a non-immigrant visa reserved for higher education, meaning masters and PhDs, right? So why'd you say only 40% of immigrants have master's degrees? We're talking about H-1Bs. You literally mentioned that H-1B visas are highly
but not all immigrants have H-1B visas.
Yeah, but you were literally talking about H-1B visas.
No.
What do you mean?
I was talking about immigration in general, which is what the resolution is about.
Okay, but I'm talking about H-1Bs right now. So,
that the resolution isn't solely about H-1B visas.
Charles, stop helping it out. But I can say that because of H-1Bs, we are keeping or lowering the restrictions actually helps America more.
But wait, what do you mean?
I'm saying that because the current quota of H-1Bs is, if we raise the current quota of H-1Bs, then keeping or lowering the restrictions actually helps a lot more.
But you mean like background checks?
Okay. So what exactly do you what exactly do you want to increase with the restrictions?
Background checks, sex and security.
Stop helping me out. So how would you do this? Like, wouldn't that cost more money hiring more people?
But if it's in order to save lives, if we had, maybe we could have prevented the 9/11 attacks if.
Partner ready? Opponent ready? Okay. Time starts now. Our opponent attacked our first contention, saying that these immigrants will come here and they'll pay our government back with the money they use. But although the government may be getting paid back, what about the citizens, their money? They should get the benefits they paid for, not immigrants, well, as he says, refugees, who don't pay taxes and get like free housing, free food, all of that regular U.S. citizens don't. The money they pay should be going towards our country, helping our people, infrastructure, benefits, Medicare, all those kind of important things this country needs to improve. Immigrants, sure, they might help, but they should come second. Our country always comes first. You wouldn't, if there's a struggling country or something, you wouldn't waste all your resources, like go help them, but then at the cost of your own country, your own people. The U.S.'s mission, as stated in the Constitution, we the people, is to put the people of the United States first, not immigrants. Second of all, he attacked our third contention, saying that these people coming here, H-1Bs, highly educated, increase employment rates by making new companies. However, 75% of all new companies are actually founded by native-born Americans, not Native Americans. And these H-1Bs, these H-1Bs have also are the reason for 9/11. These people came here posing as students, but what happened? They killed over 2,000 people. Instead of helping the economy, they actually just killed people and didn't even help the economy. Actually, they worsened the economy because we had to pay to rebuild this stuff. For these reasons, I urge you to vote
What's needed? Alright. So off on roadmap, I'm just going to go over what my opponent said in their attack case and what my other opponent said in his defense case that attacked me in any way. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
Time starts now. So in my opponent's attack speech, they talk about how H-1B visas are highly educated and only 40% of immigrants have master's degrees and 75% of the new companies are by Americans. However, according to the USCIS, 51% of large companies are created by immigrants, and this was December 2017. And also, the 40% of immigrants have master's degrees. Yes, but anyways, these will actually help us. These will help us. Then they talk about how immigrants will cost a lot of money, and how they talk about how the immigrants will actually make the U.S. spend more money. But as I said earlier, the immigrants will pay back. And we're not just talking about refugees, we're not just talking about H-1Bs, we're talking about in general. Like if lottery migration and chain migration, the country actually pays us to do this. So they actually are paying us back even before they come. And going on to my opponent's defense case, they talk about how 9/11 they posed as students, but student visas aren't H-1B visas, just pointing that out. And therefore, I strongly urge a pro ballot.
Can we?
Opponent ready?
Yeah.
Judges ready? Okay, time starts now. Judge, this debate comes down to the people of the United States. Our country pledged to put our safety in us first, which is what these immigrants should put second. Which is why these immigrants should be put second. Before I continue, I'd like to say that he dropped our second contention on security. We, the people, should be given the benefits we pay for. These refugees, the refugees should be given a chance, but not free everything. This is like investing in a failing stock company. You put your money in expecting benefits, but instead you get nothing. We should put our citizens first in order to form a more perfect union. Because also these are safety to us. 9/11 was the most deadly terror attack of all time in the U.S. was caused by a group of terrorists with the H-1B visa. The Department of Homeland Security says that over 21% of people who get this visa commit a crime related to fraud or technical violations. These immigrants are a safety to a safety liability. We also the H-1B is so easily hacked that there's no way to know how many holders there are in the U.S. And also what they could be doing. So for these reasons, my partner and I urge you to vote pro.
I do not need any prep. Is everyone ready? Time starts now. So starting off with the points for why I should win. I've responded to their points and what they said about their contention to more security. I did respond to that. I said that there already is enough security, and yeah. The second reason as to why we should win is they never actually responded to why I should win, like what ways for me to win. They never responded to why the H-1B quota isn't enough and how keeping or lowering the restrictions will help. So no matter what, because I've stated these out and they haven't responded to them, I should win because it's clearly out there. I had it in my case right there, but they still haven't responded to it because I flagged these points and it's ways that I will win. And finally, my opponents haven't responded to any of my points from the present case, and that includes my first contention about the current quota and how H-1Bs are important, and then how the H-1Bs will help. Second point about what the importance of H-1Bs are, and the third point about the benefits of H-1B of immigration in general. And because I have nothing else to say, I strongly urge a convalidate.